Love cannot be broken even in death, and that is true even when the one you love is a human and you are a dog. In today's story, we will check out one dog who even attended his owner's funeral. But it was what he did next that will really blow your mind. When one faithful dog lost his best friend, he was devastated. Once upon a time, in a small village named Kozlu in Turkey, there lived a man named Mehmet. Mehmet was a kind and gentle soul who had always longed for a companion to share his days with. He was known throughout the village for his warm smile and generous heart. Despite his friendly nature, Mehmet often felt a sense of loneliness, as he had never found a true companion who could fill the void in his heart. One fateful day, as Mehmet was walking through the village market, his eyes caught sight of a little puppy with a wagging tail and sad eyes. The puppy seemed lost and alone, tugging at the strings of Mehmet's compassionate soul. Instantly, Mehmet felt a connection with the pup and knew he had found his perfect companion. Approaching the puppy cautiously, Mehmet knelt down and extended his hand. The pup sniffed curiously and tentatively licked his fingers. It was as if a spark ignited within their hearts, a bond that transcended words and logic. Without a second thought, Mehmet scooped up the pup into his arms, cradling him with tenderness. In that moment, their destinies intertwined, forever altering the course of their lives. Mehmet decided to name the puppy Caesar, a name that held a special meaning for him. It symbolized bravery and courage, qualities he hoped to instill in his newfound companion. From that day forward, Mehmet and Caesar became inseparable. They formed a unique bond built on trust, love, and unwavering loyalty. Together, they embarked on countless adventures throughout the village and beyond. They strolled through the meadows, explored the nearby forests, and even took dips in the sparkling river that flowed by the village. The villagers would often catch glimpses of Mehmet and Caesar, their hearts warmed by the sight of their harmonious companionship. Caesar grew up to be a remarkable dog, embodying the very essence of his name. He fearlessly protected Mehmet, standing by his side through thick and thin. Their days were filled with laughter and joy, as Caesar's playful antics never failed to bring a smile to Mehmet's face. He had finally found the true companion he had always longed for. Years passed, and the bond between Mehmet and Caesar only grew stronger. They were like two halves of a whole, sharing an unspoken language that transcended words. The village marveled at the deep connection they witnessed between the man and his faithful canine companion. But life is unpredictable, and even the strongest bonds can be tested. One day, Mehmet fell severely ill and had to be rushed to the hospital. The news of his condition spread like wildfire through the village, leaving everyone deeply concerned. The villagers offered their prayers and support, hoping for Mehmet's swift recovery. During Mehmet's time in the hospital, Caesar would sit by the door, his ears perked up, waiting for any news of his beloved owner. Days turned into weeks, and Caesar's eyes reflected a mixture of worry and longing. He refused to eat or engage in any playful activities, his heart consumed by the absence of Mehmet. Meanwhile, the villagers, touched by Caesar's unwavering loyalty, rallied together to ensure that he was cared for. They formed a rotating schedule, taking turns to visit the hospital and bring updates to Caesar. Each visitor would spend time with him, showering him with love, attention, and plenty of treats. They understood that Caesar's world revolved around Mehmet, and they were determined to support him during this difficult time. The villagers soon discovered that Caesar's spirits lifted whenever they spoke of Mehmet. They would share stories of their adventures together, reminiscing about the moments of joy they had witnessed between the inseparable pair. Caesar's tail would wag and a glimmer of happiness would shine in his eyes, even if only for a brief moment. Sadly, despite the best efforts of the doctors and the love of those around him, Mehmet's condition deteriorated. The news of his passing reverberated through the village, casting a dark cloud over its once vibrant spirit. The villagers mourned the loss of a man who had touched their lives with his kindness and gentle nature. After Mehmet's body arrived home, Caesar remained close by, refusing to budge. When a procession formed to carry the coffin to a local mosque for the funeral, the dog insisted on leading the way. Caesar walked solemnly alongside the villagers as they made their way to the cemetery. During the ceremony, Caesar sat by the coffin, his head hanging sadly. This is how he remained the entire time. The mournful atmosphere was palpable as prayers were said and heartfelt eulogies were delivered. And amidst the tears and sorrow, Caesar stood beside Mehmet's grave as if paying his final respects to the one who had given him a purpose in life. Caesar watched as Mehmet was laid to rest. Sadly, though, it seems to have brought him little closure. This little dog Caesar lost the one person in his life who mattered most to him. But even in the wake of his best friend's death, Caesar's love and loyalty for him still has yet to fade. Caesar had been Mehmet's faithful companion, so his passing was especially heartbreaking. The villagers couldn't help but be deeply moved by the sight of Caesar's unwavering loyalty and devotion. They watched in awe as he sat there, his eyes never leaving the grave, as if waiting for his owner to come back. It was a poignant reminder of the deep bond they had shared and the love that transcended even death. After the funeral, life in the village gradually returned to its usual rhythm, but Cesar's routine remained unchanged. Every day he would make his way to the cemetery, navigating the familiar paths with a sense of purpose. The villagers, touched by his unwavering dedication, would often leave a bowl of water and food for him near Mehmet's grave, ensuring that he was cared for during his visits. Cesar's presence in the cemetery became a source of solace not only for himself but also for those who had known and loved Mehmet. The villagers would often visit the cemetery to find comfort in Cesar's company. They would sit beside him, stroke his fur, and share stories of their own interactions with Mehmet, reminiscing about the joy and kindness he had brought into their lives. As time passed, Cesar's visits to the cemetery took on a routine of their own. He would arrive in the morning, lie down beside the grave, and stay there until sunset. It was as if he had made a silent promise to be there for Mehmet, even in his absence. The villagers, deeply touched by Caesar's devotion, marveled at the strength of the bond between man and dog. Word of Cesar's unwavering loyalty spread beyond the village. People from neighboring towns and even from distant cities came to witness the extraordinary connection between Caesar and his deceased owner. They came bearing gifts of treats and toys, offering their support to the dog who had captured the hearts of so many. News outlets picked up on the story, and Caesar's tale resonated with people around the world. Messages of love and admiration poured in, expressing how deeply Caesar's story had touched them. Many shared stories of their own beloved pets and the unbreakable bonds they had formed. Caesar became a symbol of loyalty, reminding people of the profound impact that animals can have on our lives. Caesar's daily visits to the cemetery became a pilgrimage of sorts for those seeking solace or inspiration. People from all walks of life would visit, some bringing their own pets along, hoping to witness the extraordinary devotion firsthand. Caesar had unknowingly become an ambassador for the power of unconditional love, his presence in the cemetery serving as a beacon of hope for those who had experienced loss. As the years went by, Caesar grew older, his once energetic steps slowing down. The villagers watched with a mix of joy and sadness as Caesar's fur turned gray and his pace became more measured. They knew that his time on this earth was drawing to a close, but they also knew that his spirit would forever remain intertwined with Mehmet's. And then one peaceful morning, Caesar took his final breath, his tired body finding rest beside Mehmet's grave. The news of his passing once again reverberated through the village, bringing a sense of collective grief. The villagers gathered one last time in the cemetery, paying their respects to the dog who had shown them the true meaning of loyalty and devotion. Today, in the village of Kozlu, Caesar's presence can still be felt. People from far and wide come to visit the cemetery, drawn by the tale of the dog who defied the boundaries of life and death to honor his beloved owner. Caesar's story serves as a testament to the strength of the human-animal bond and the lasting impact that love can have on our lives. And so the tale of Mehmet and Caesar lives on, reminding us that even in the face of adversity and loss, love has the power to transcend all boundaries. It is a story that continues to inspire and touch the hearts of those who hear it. That's all for this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification for more such videos. Till then, take care. Thanks for watching.